In fact, Congressman, let's start with an issue that I'm pretty sure you're going to bring up with the president, and that has to do with immigration and what illegal immigrants can or can't do in the health care bill. What is it about the Senate bill that you don't like that you want to see changed?
All right, a couple of things. First, Chuck, if I could just say that so that we frame this correctly. When the president first came to me and others, we accepted reluctantly, and we thought it was bad public policy, but we accepted that for the bill to move forward, undocumented immigrants, illegally here in the United States, would be excluded. Now, it wasn't easy to do, but we did it. But then the president kind of doubled down, right? And then he said, but even if they go to the exchange with their own money, they can't buy health care for themselves and for their families. And I'm kind of like, well, they collect the money from the IRS and their taxes, and they go to the store to shop. Why can't they pay? Especially since they're younger, less likely to use health care, and the premiums will go to helping support the system. So we want people to pay, but he said, no, not even then can they come. And secondly, I think it's very important for people to understand that in the Senate version, which looks like the way we're going here, I mean, every indication is that's the way we're going. They're going to exclude legal permanent residents for the first 5 years. That is to say, it's a mandate that they go out and purchase health care, but they can't get any subsidy. They're required. And, you know, we want immigrants. We're always saying, why don't immigrants play by the rules? Well, they want to play by the rules, but then we're saying, but you're not really part of the rules. So those are a couple of issues.
Well, let's get down to brass tacks. Let's get down to brass tacks. Are those two issues enough for you to say, you know what, I can't support this bill?
They are enough to say I can't support this bill. I'm looking forward to talking to the president and see if he can't give us some kind of holistic explanation of what we're doing, because health care and immigration, housing, immigration, banking system, immigration, they're all intertwined. Let's deal with it in a comprehensive manner so that the president doesn't have to be, I think, really demeaning the stature of his office and himself by going after immigrants, by saying they can't, because I don't really think he believes that. I just think that somebody at the White House told him that might be a good way to go to gain some leverage among the American public. So we want to talk to him about.
Well, wait a minute. You said somebody at the White House. Who at the White House specifically?
Well, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know who at the White House, but I would expect. I don't really think it's him. I don't think he woke up. You know, I don't think he came and had that altercation with Congressman Wilson, and then the next day woke up and said, well, I'm going to double down. Not only did I say yesterday that illegals, and by the way, he used to call them undocumented
You're bringing up the Joe Wilson. Let me just remind viewers, the you lie from that speech had to do with when the president said his health care plan did not give health care to illegal immigrants, correct?
And I'm going to tell you something. Because he had to convince me and others to exclude them, I'm telling you, the president wasn't lying. But it was like the next day he doubled down, right? And he said, you know what, not even that, even at the exchange with their own money will we not allow them. That's bad public policy. So I just think that the president's being advised poorly.
You brought up immigration and talked about how it's intertwined with a number of issues, not just health care. You brought up with financial reform. We know that the issue of comprehensive immigration reform came up earlier today at the White House.
Yes.
I guess my question is, if the president says to you, Congressman Gutierrez, here's what I'm going to do, you're going to have to live with this Senate language. However, I'm taking on immigration this year. I'm not putting it off to next year. I'm taking it on this year. I had a good meeting with Senator Graham, with Senator Schumer, who were both at the White House today. Would that be enough to get your vote?
You know, it would be enough. To be quite honest with you, it would be enough to enter into a conversation with the President of the United States. I think we need to deal with this in a macro way. I want to be helpful, but quite honestly, you know, understand, I'm from Chicago. I still remember December of 2006 when I got the call from my junior senator, and he said, come on down, Luis, and I'm going to Hawaii. I'm going to be with my wife, and when I come back, I'm thinking I want to run for president. Will you help me? And I said, Go have a good time in Hawaii, Barack. Enjoy yourself, and when you come back, I'll stand with you. And I did. You know what? If we could have a little more of that 2004 Barack Obama, who just thrilled us all at the Democratic Convention, and he applied some of that enthusiasm and charisma to the issue of immigration, I think we can get, I want to see him come back. I want to see candidate Barack Obama be President Barack Obama.
Sounds like it's going to be a dynamic conversation tonight. Very quickly, Congressman, while I have you, are you going to run for mayor of Chicago next year?
No. I called the mayor about a month ago and told him I'm going to be for Mayor Daley.
Okay. All right, Congressman Gutierrez, thank you for joining us.
All right.
Good luck tonight at the White House. All right, with me now, New York Times White House reporter, Jeff Zeleny. Jeff, you heard some of that interview. It seems like he's mixing, and this is what the Congressional Hispanic Caucus in general, they're not happy about how the immigration issue has been dealt with, not just in the health care bill, but the whole idea of immigration reform. So if he gets a pledge, it sounded like to me, if he gets a pledge that the president's going to push immigration reform this year, he'll sign off on what he doesn't like in the health care bill.
That's what it sounded like. It's kind of hard to imagine that the president would agree to do immigration reform this year, or would have the support to go forward with it. I mean, we're already pushing the envelope far closer to the midterm elections with this big health care fight. So, I mean, equally interesting, I thought, what Congressman Gutierrez was saying is, he said we want to see some of that old Barack Obama. What happened to that 2006 Barack Obama? This next week or 2-week period here really is a lot of more infighting among some of President Obama's close allies than they ever had hoped to get at this point. The immigration thing, I somehow think President Obama will be able to talk his old friend from Chicago off the ledge on this one.
Well, it certainly sounded like he was willing, at first he wasn't willing to put his vote on the line. It didn't sound like at the end of the day.